Okay. Hello. How is everybody? As promised, this is a recording about this week's homework. Again, homework isn't due until Sunday at 11:59 p.m., but I just want to go over some things and some expectations that I have. The first thing I want to remind you all, in case you haven't seen, attendance for this week, attendance is going to be different every week. Attendance for this week is going to be the enrollment quiz. So make sure you do that. It says it needs to be done by tomorrow. But as long as you have it done, I'm assuming by Sunday, that will be fine, and that you'll get your attendance points for that. If you don't have it done by Sunday, then you will not get your attendance points for this week. Okay, just a FYI. But if you can get it done by tomorrow, I see a lot of you have got it done. Perfect, wonderful, and we'll so that you're on your way to getting your points for that. Again, attendance points is 10% of your grade. Every week we'll have a question. It'll just be a question or something, real quick, so that you can get those points. And again, it's 10% of your grade. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here, and go over here. Yeah, it says I'm sharing. Okay, so we're good. All right, so the first thing that you have for this week is your readings. Okay, I would have to say pay attention to the nutrients. Nutrients are going to be a big thing in this class, the macronutrients and micronutrients. So make sure that you're reading that, you understand what those are. Macronutrients, you're going to hear them a lot. They're going to be carbs, proteins, and fats. So just make sure that you're paying attention to those, understand what they are, because you're going to need it next week. You'll see a little bit more next week about it. But anyway, so again, read over your readings for this week. They're right there. That's 1.0, the introduction and stuff. All right. The discussion for the week this week, I see a couple of you have done it, and it's fine. But what you're going to do now, it says to reply to the topic by Wednesday. I will not mark points down if you don't get it done by Sunday. The reason we have it for Wednesday, and you probably already know this, is because so then other people can respond to it on Sunday. Some people do it all on one day. And if you don't have anything to respond to, that gets kind of hard to respond to. And just so you know, the points for discussions are 20 points. I will give you all 20 points if you do your first topic, the first, post, and then respond to two, you will get the whole 20 points. If you only respond to one, you will get 17 points. And if you respond to both of them, then you get no, I'm sorry, I mixed that up. If you don't respond to anybody, you only get 15 points. Okay, so let me explain that again. If you just do the post and don't respond to anybody, it's 15 points. If you respond to one, you'll get 17 points, and then if you respond to both, then you'll get the whole 20 points. Okay. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. Anyway, this first one is about just asking about what your beliefs, attitudes, assumptions, beliefs, concerns, and misconceptions about nutrition, no, about nutrition, do you bring to this class? So for this first one, what you're going to do is I want you to reflect on what you already know. So I really want to know what you know. I don't want to know what AI knows. I want to know what you know, okay, about nutrition and how you learned what you know. Then write a post that includes the following three headings, and each under each heading, give two examples. So there's three bullet points here. You can make three bullet points with your two examples. That's fine. Bullet points, no need for paragraphs, but bullet points will work. Okay. So the first one is two things I once believed about food, hydration, or nutrition that I no longer believe to be true or accurate. Okay. One thing you might have thought before, and now you don't think it's true. Two things about food, hydration, nutrition that I believe to be true and that I apply or pay attention to in my daily life. Could be, I believe that you should drink 16 ounces of water, that you don't need 32 ounces, or something like that. Whatever you believe is a true thing and that you do regularly. And then the last one is two questions I have about food, hydration, nutrition, and that could be anything you think that you have a question about. Anything is fine. And then you need to reply to two classmates, okay? And you could say, I think that's a great idea. You can answer a question. You can do whatever you want. Just the big thing I'm looking for there is that you're that you've read their posts and you're asking a good you're responding well. Okay. All right, then the next one is a 1.2 plus 2 plus 2, which I always think it's very interesting how they name these. But anyway, this one is just due by Sunday. This one you do not have to reply to anybody. You can reply if you want to, but you do not have to. The only way you're going to get this is to me, this is an easy 20 points. You're going to watch the video and then you're going to reflect on what you read about that. So just use this after watching the video, contribute a post here containing two key takeaways that you want to remember and two questions or wonderings that you came up with. Bullet points are fine on this one. 1 to 2 sentences per item. I don't want just a phrase. I want full sentences. And it could be just one. So it could just be 4 sentences on this or four questions or two questions and 2 sentences, whatever. Make sure when you refer to the video, please be specific and provide a timestamp. Like at 4:57, I saw that this happened, okay? So that classmates can benefit from your thinking and if they're curious about something you wrote about, revisit the video and rewatch that part. So then they don't have to rewatch the whole part. They can just look for that timestamp, okay? Very important to do that. And please let me know if you have any questions about that. Again, bullet points are fine. Make sure you're putting a timestamp on there. All right. Um, and the last one, and this one you probably should get going on, because it's a and you're going to need. It's very important that you do this one too because you're going to need it for next week assignment. Okay. So this is the lab. This is what they're calling the lab. So I'll just read the instructions. For this hands-on lab, you will collect data on your food intake, what you eat, and physical activities, and record data in a food and activity journal. Using this data, you will then be able to make some observations about what you're eating, compare the composition of your food intake, and reflect on the relationship between you and your dietary choices and physical activity patterns. So this week, for this part, what you're going to do, and I would make sure you're looking at each step. So step one, prepare your journal. You can use any format you want. They do have one on here that you can use. Right here, it says blank journal template. You can use that one. This one is a partially filled one. We'll look at that at the end here. And it is only one day. So make sure that you are doing 3 days. You need to have 3 days, not just one. You will only get a third of if you only do one day, you'll only get one part of your points, okay? So you only get 8 points if you only do 1 point or one day, okay? Make sure you do all 3 days. Really pretty easy thing. And then record your data. So for 3 days, consecutive days, so it could be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever 3 days you want to do it. Just make sure you're tracking all your food and beverage take. I don't care if it's 6 ounces of water or one fun-sized candy bar. Put that on there, okay? Because it's really important that you do that. And then start record. It's morning, lunch, all day until the time you wake up, until the time excuse me, until you go to bed. Okay. So make sure for each entry, and this is important too, that you're putting their time of whenever you eat it. So let's say, I don't need to know what time you get up, but 7:30, I had an egg and 4 ounces of orange juice. Okay. Make sure you're saying it's a breakfast, a morning, a snack, whatever it might be. Okay. Specific food beverage. It needs to tell me about how much do you think? Is it a large apple? Is it a medium apple? Is it, look at how much if you're eating a container of applesauce, how much is in that container of applesauce, all right? And like I said, precise doesn't have to be precise, but close to it, okay? Try to unpack complex food items, or I found so like let's say you have a cheeseburger. It's giving you that idea. Make sure tell me what's on there. You had the beef patty, you had the bun, and if it's a wheat bun or if it's a sourdough bun, what kind? Mayo, lettuce, tell me all that's on there, okay? Make it easier later on when you're trying to figure this out. Okay, and then it gives you a little idea here with estimating portion size. Just an idea, a fist is about a cup, a palm is about 3 ounces, your thumb is about a tablespoon, and a cupped hand is about half a cup. All right. Or you can get out measuring cups and do that too if you want. However, like I said, it doesn't have to be precise, but just an about time. Okay. And then for each physical activity, make sure you're telling me what it is. So if it's, practice for softball or, wrestling practice or whatever it is, weightlifting, I need to know what it is and how long you did it. Intensity, was it moderate? Was it intense? Was it high? What it was it? And then what time? And then how long? Okay. Or it can just be minutes. It doesn't have to be, um, but anyway, so just let's go back up here. And you can have it handwritten. It can be on here. If it's handwritten, of course, I will need a picture of it. Send me a picture and submit it. That's fine. Or you can use a Word document. Like I said, this is one that this is an example. Now, of course, like I said, this is just one day. This, like I said, 6:30, what they had, one slice of toast, two slices of toast, whatever. 10 o'clock over here, he they jogged for 30 minutes, and then they had this other stuff. Or, if you went to Qdoba and had two tacos, whatever. Another thing, oh, it went back there. Okay, let's see. I want to show you. Right here shows a blank one that you can use. Now, of course, you may need to add, things on this, or you can make your own in Excel, whatever works for you. Okay. I want it to be remember, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to sound like a broken record. 3 days. It needs to be a 3 day. And then we'll need this for next week's assignment. All right. We're going to do something with next week's. All right. If you have any questions, please let me know. Email me. I will be traveling this weekend, but I will be checking everything so that so that if you have a question or anything, I will answer. I just want to let you know that I will be traveling, so maybe a little late in answering, but not too bad. All right. Again, thank you, and let me know if you have any questions. Take care, everybody.